Hey, what's up, guys and dolls? It is M, as always. Welcome back to the Toyland, and it is Thursday, so you know what that means. It's time for episode 2 of Cover to Cover with M, and today we are looking at another older story. We have Frank Miller's Batman: The Dark Knight Returns. This is the 30th anniversary edition, as you can see. This is the one that it's hardcover, and you can actually pick this up at Walmart for $20. But it's hardcover, and it has the actual the animated film of this story inside the back cover. It does have the full version. When the movie was released originally, it was 2 different discs released at different times of the year. There was a bit of a break in between the two, and eventually they put out a version that had both of the films put together back to back. So, there's no disc changing or any of that. It was nice. But yeah, let's get into this book. A lot of you probably know Batman v Superman drew heavily from this book. From the suit to Batman's age, to even what was going on with Batman in his life at the point where we find him in BVS. He's retired. So that's all Dark Knight Returns. Sorry, I bumped the camera. Not cool. He's been out for a while. He hung up the cowl. And, of course, gets drawn back in. And is forced to wear the cowl again. And it's a good book. It's a lot of, I know the book gets a lot of flack. A lot of people don't get it. A lot of people seem to struggle with the book in general. I know a big thing is they don't like Frank Miller's artwork. Well, I guess, you're entitled to not like anything, I guess. But his art, it's definitely different, and it's definitely stylized, but I wouldn't call it bad. I mean, especially in today's world, it's almost hard to call any art bad. After studying art for 3 years and watching how art has grown and changed to your Dada movements and stuff, and there's some crazy art out there, but it is art. So yeah, I respect his artwork because he does a lot himself. He does a lot of his own work. I'm not sure if he does a lot of coloring, but I know he does a lot of pencils and his own inks often. But it's not even his art. I think the biggest problem with the story and what people in today's world have with it is they can't relate, especially younger people. No offense, guys, but anyone born in, well, even me. I was born. I think the year this book came out. I can't remember if it came out 86 or 88. But it's what makes this book so great and so important to the comic medium is it's not his art. It's the story he told. Frank Miller, with this book, did something that at that time had never really ever been done before. Comics were comics, and that's what they were. They were fanciful. They were loaded with fantasy elements and kind of unrelatable, I guess you could say. But what Frank Miller did with this book was he brought the real world and real problems into the world of Batman. This book, Ronald Reagan is the president, just like he was at the time this book was released. It deals with the war that was going on at that time, the Cuban Missile Crisis. It deals with all that, and like I said, that is something that had never really been done until this point. Frank Miller really less brought the real world into Batman and brought Batman into the real world. There were so many real elements to the story, things that were actually happening in the world at that time. And that's what made this book so big. Now, a lot of us were either little, not all of us, but a lot of us were either little or not even born yet when, during the 80s, when all that stuff went down. So, you got a 15-year-old kid, even a 20-year-old kid now that sees this book and goes, well, this is stupid. And it's like, well, that's ignorant and completely inaccurate. It's not stupid. The problem is you can't relate to it because that's all stuff of the past. But at the time, that is why this book made such a huge splash and why I would recommend reading it. It truly did. It truly changed the comic medium forever when this book came out. Frank Miller warped the comic medium into something new. And you can tell. I mean, look at the pre Dark Knight Returns comics, and then look at what we start to get after. In 2001, there was a lot of World Trade Center stuff going on in the comics. I remember buying a Spider-Man comic, actually, that was all about that. And that kind of stuff, Frank Miller paved the way for that. He made that stuff okay. He made it okay for us to burden our flawed but perfect heroes with things that we have to deal with, rather than dealing with some superpowered alien monstrosity. They're dealing with real world problems that, we, the readers, have to deal with. And that's, again, it comes back to relevance. This book may not be relevant to the times now, per se, but what it did was create this level of accessibility for us to make comics relevant to the real world now. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. There is definitely, that's the reason. There is a reason that this book is so highly regarded. And much of that has to do with what I just explained to you. So, hopefully, you may still not care for the art, but hopefully I've given some of you a better understanding as to why this book was so important, why it is so important, and why it made such a big splash in the comic world. Let's open it up here. We'll look at some of the pages. It's also got a lot of, another thing that comics hadn't really done too much of or too heavily at this point. This book has so much commentary, so much political commentary. Ronald Reagan, like any president, was divisive. People loved him, people hated him. But this book certainly does not paint him in the best light most of the time. I have a feeling that Frank, who is a very straightforward and opinionated man, and, if you don't like it, he'll tell you to fudge right off. He's kind of a dick, I can't lie. in interviews and stuff, he's just so rigid and so, I don't know if the guy ever laughs. No, I've seen him laugh, but he's a tough customer to talk to and to deal with. But I have a feeling he didn't much care for Ronald Reagan as president. Oh, this is a good scene here. Yeah, here's Batman driving a tank. Another thing, Batman, even in this book, at one point he says, I don't kill. But I think, to be more accurate, he doesn't kill directly. He doesn't walk up to you and cut your throat, break your neck, stab you, shoot you, whatever. But similar to Batman v Superman, Batman never walks up and actually kills someone, short of in that dream sequence, which is, for one, a dream, and two, the circumstances were pretty crazy. And he did walk up and just shoot a couple guys in that. But again, dream sequence, and there's some crazy shit going on. But you can see here, okay, Batman's in a giant tank, and he's blowing these dudes up. So clearly, you can't tell me these guys are getting blown up and not dying. They are indirectly being killed by Batman, which is kind of the attitude he has in BVS. I mean, really, the movie was quite true with Batman to this story. You know, he's kind of has this attitude like, you know, I'm not going to kill you, but if you're indirectly caught in an explosion that I may or may not have caused, well, you know, wrong place, wrong time, pal. Tough break. So, you know, there's that. Kind of put a kibosh on that whole people complaining about Batman killing thing, because Batman has killed plenty. Oh, look, there's a magic card, which I do not play. I have not played in years. I don't really play any card games anymore. But there's still cards laying around, and I use them as bookmarks. So apparently when I was reading this last, here's where I left off. So, yeah, guys, great read. Very important to the world of comics. Beyond its self-greatness, it's a very important book to the comic medium. So, you know, hopefully, if you're not a fan, or if you've even, like, hated the book, maybe now you at least have enough understanding to at least respect it. That's my problem. Like, you don't have to like the art. You don't even have to like the story. But to not pay respect where respect is due is just ignorant. Okay? You know, there's things that I don't like, but if they deserve respect, they'll still get it. So, yeah, I think I'm done here. Went over this pretty good. Not too much about the story. Far less spoilery than my last one. Also a lot shorter than my last one, but like I said, few books out there inspire the kind of ranting in me that The Killing Joke does. So, yeah, I am done here. I hope you guys enjoyed this little look. I hope it wasn't too spoilery. I don't even know if I'm going to put the word spoilers in the title, because I don't feel like I spoiled anything at all. Unless, you know, you've seen something in the pictures that you'd consider spoilery, but you can always skip over that part. So, yeah, cool, guys. Episode 2 of Cover to Cover. I told you it's Thursday, and that means I'm doing this. I'm actually trying to write a schedule. It's looking like Thursdays I'm going to do Cover to Cover. I'll have Cover to Cover uploaded on Thursdays. I don't really have a time set specifically, so whenever I get it up. And then Wednesdays, I'm thinking, will be the upload for Kids Corner. Fridays, I'm kind of looking at maybe doing like a Figure Friday type deal. I don't know. Those are the only 3 I have so far. I've been thinking about it the last few days. But I kind of want to... I have so many videos now, and I'm getting a few more subscribers and stuff. And I think it'd be cool to kind of get on a schedule. So you guys can expect for me to upload, because my upload schedule has just been random as hell since I started. Could be anywhere from 4 videos a day to a video every couple days. So it'll still be like that. I'll still upload randomly as I see fit, but I am trying to get some kind of a schedule down. So yeah, stay tuned for more scheduled cover to cover with M sequences. I can't even tell you what book is coming up next. It will be Batman. I know that much. It's a Batman book. So, stay tuned for more. If you're enjoying this, I hope you are. I hope I gave you some great insight into why The Dark Knight Returns is so important to the comic world. Very influential. Yeah, I'm done. Thanks as always, guys. I appreciate the tune-in. And until next time, keep on rocking.